Gardening for Wildlife cover. Wildlife needs places to hide to feel safe from people, predators, and inclement weather. Native vegetation is a perfect cover for terrestrial wildlife. Shrubs, thickets, and brush piles provide great hiding places within their bushy leaves and thorns. Even dead trees work as a home to lots of different animals, including some that use the tree cavities and branches for nesting and perching.
Placing a wildlife brush shelter on your property can add an interesting and important element to your backyard habitat, attracting a wide variety of wildlife that may have been missing. Providing dense and heavy, secure shelter close to the ground can attract many animals that may not feel comfortable even in the most colorful butterfly garden or thoroughly landscaped yard. The variety of wildlife you may see using the brush shelter over the years is long and impressive. Flycatchers and dragonflies perch on the tips of branches looking for flying insects. Salamanders hide under the base. Lizards and butterflies sun themselves on the surface. Rabbits, turtles, and sparrows use the tangled branches for temporary shelter. Toads, mice, and ground beetles will come and go, as will the skunks, snakes, and quail that feed on them. Woodpeckers will pick insects out of the more decayed wood while foxes set up dens underneath. Leave the leaves. A leaf layer several inches deep is a natural thing in any area where trees normally grow. Many wildlife species live in or rely on the leaf layer to find food and other habitat, including salamanders, chipmunks, box turtles, toads, shrews, earthworms, and many insect species. Many butterfly and moth species overwinter as pupae in leaf litter. Remember, butterfly and moth caterpillars are a critically important food source for birds in the spring when they are feeding their babies. And if you remove all of the pupae with the leaves in the fall, there will be few of these insects around in your garden in the spring.
If you live in an area that has a neighborhood where you have a manicured lawn, you have some flower beds, and you have downed tree limbs, and you load them up and haul them off to the dump like we do, it's a good idea to try to use those and let them decompose on your land to re-nourish the soil. And for the animals that are living in that debris, just to continue to live. So you can lay your dead logs over to the side. You can actually lay them back behind your hedgerows. You can take the debris that's on the ground, your cut grass, your leaves, use it for mulching your beds. And you can, even if you're in a patio situation, and you could take the dead leaves from the area around your patio and use it to mulch in your plants. And that way you let the circle of life continue.
Backyard birders understand the importance of birdhouses for nesting and raising young. After nesting season, however, roosting boxes, similar to, yet different than birdhouses, can be crucial for the survival of birds under harsh conditions. Depending on the size of the box, a dozen or more birds may use a single roosting box. We also know that birds will roost in birdhouses. Unlike a birdhouse, however, a well-designed roosting box has adaptations such as less ventilation and drainage to conserve the existing heat, an entrance hole near the bottom of the box instead of the top to prevent the loss of rising heat, and interior perches to accommodate a greater number of birds, like social distancing that we people now know well. The Parnells enjoy the dual use of an owl box for both nesting and roosting. This winter, We watched what we think was a single reddish-brown, also called Rufous, eastern screech owl that roosted in the box above. During the mating season, the Rufous owl was not seen for a couple of weeks. Then we began seeing a night gray owl sitting in the hole. Because of current behaviors and the two color phases that are now present, we're almost certain that we now have a nesting pair with us for the season, one Rufous and one gray. We definitely have two different birds who sit in the hole at different times. While roosting boxes are nice, they're definitely not necessary in Zone 8. Learning more about roosting boxes can make for an interesting study.